Alright. I am almost ready. Almost ready to start. Let me just turn this down. Hope y'all are doing good. Hello, Shizaru. Good to have you here. I am still setting up something, but I will be ready in just a second. I hope you're well. Alright, I think we should... Oh, actually, no, I forgot to start VTube Studio. That would be helpful. I really should give myself a bit more time to set up in the morning, but... can't be bothered to wake up earlier. Currently planning ahead for your game, giving yourself and later other people strokes in the meantime. Yeah, that's understandable. Yeah, mine took a lot of like ideation to come up with, like, personally. I found that for me, like, the theme felt like a bit too narrative focused in a way, which I'm not typically like a narrative focused person when it comes to games. So it was a bit rough coming up with a more gameplay oriented idea for the theme. Implementing Cthulhu language, kinda. Ah, yeah. So I assume you're making like an Ina game then. No, it's funny because even before seeing that a lot of other people were making an Ina game, like, that was kind of what I was gonna do as well. Like, I was thinking that you would like... Or, I guess I won't spoil my idea, but... Yeah, that was sort of where my mind went to as well, so... It seems we're gonna have, like, a lot of Ina games. Anyway, I think we should be good to go now. If I go here... nope, it's not showing me. Okay, there we go. I see that I have Gadur layered incorrectly. Let me fix that as well. Alright. There we go. The player is Shiori and it's about our turn. Oh, okay. Ina is still really relevant. Right. Okay. That makes more sense. Alright, let's see. Maybe I'll like move the capture for this down a little bit. Actually, it's probably fine. Alright. Enough messing around. So, I've barely used Gadur, to be real. So I'm just gonna start by making a scene, sorta. So this is... I assume we can just name this like scene. We can just save this. Okay, so I think... Okay, so we have a scenes folder, more or less. Was the same for your last gen, learned Gadur while making the game last time, and it worked out. That's reassuring to hear. Yeah, I kind of want to, like, make the switch to Gadur, like, overall, and I felt like this would be a good excuse to do that. Even though you put immersial damage onto some people because of a busted, unbearable mechanic. Yeah, that's understandable. it happens. But, so I guess the first thing I kind of need to figure out is how I would do like UI, which I'm realizing that the stream doesn't capture like the sub menus, so that's an issue. Um, could I like? Okay, hang on. I need to mess with this in my OBS for a bit. I'd love if there was a way to make this a bit more bearable to look at. Okay. That seems to be good. Or is it on the screen? It's like roughly like here-ish. It's a bit smaller actually. Whatever, good enough. Imagine Jump King, now put that luck, or put luck into that so you got a 5% chance that you jump backwards. But if you use that, you double your jump height, which you need in some stages. Oof. Yeah, that's definitely kind of rough. Alright, let's see. We have Nerd 2D, Raycast 2D. Hmm. So we have like Canvas Group. Okay. See that. But do we have buttons? Hmm. Maybe it's technically in 3D, but we like render it in 2D. Let me just search button, see if anything. Okay. That seems to... Menu button brings up a pop-up menu when clicked. Okay. Button that represents a link. Texture button. Okay. Okay, I think this might be what we're looking for. But I might Google this to just double check. Let's see this. Rework that. Oh yeah, right. I already looked at that. There's a search box up there, and yes, they're all buttons. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Godot UI nerd. What should you use? Oh, they have documentation on it. That's good. Um, Texture button is like texture rectangle, except that it has 5 texture slots. Okay. Okay. Okay, well, rather than having analysis paralysis, I say we just go with a texture button for now, and we can see if that just walks out. This is like the screen area, I presume. Alright, where do we have the actual texture? Um, okay, this ordering, that's texture. Okay, that's weird because the documentation I was looking at had like a bunch of different areas. Like it has a textures drop down on the documentation that I'm looking at. Oh, hang on, it's here. Okay. Oh, I see that my Godard capture is messed up. Okay, well then we're just not gonna use that. Alright. Actually, we could just wait for it to... I might be able to salvage this thing I've done. Okay, so that works if I set it up like that. Okay. Half of this is me trying to like make sure that the stream has it correctly as well. I've got free time and I need it. Helpful resources in the server. There are a few Godot tutorials linked. A short one, 40 minutes total, and a long one, 11 hours just if you need it. Use the short one for the jam and really helped out. Yeah, I figure I just kind of want to feel it out as I go. And just see if I can... see if I can sort of get a feel for it. If I can... Okay, click mask I assume is like the hitbox for it. Ooh. Okay. Now I guess of course... So I guess the only problem here is that there is currently no way for me to see... like... I guess which state I'm in because I'm just using the default Godot sprite for all of them. So how about... I'm gonna make a really quick UI sprite in A sprite. I do have A sprite. Realizing I need to resize A sprite. My stream as well. There we go. Alright. So I'm not gonna make this too fancy. It just needs to be walking, I guess. Suppose I should just fill these in with black for now. Oh. So then we can fill this in with like semi-transparent black. Just to be a bit less obstructive. So then I guess like a Harvard Irva. Probably want this to like highlight some color. So that's like highlighted. And then I guess you'd have another one that's just darker. There we go. That's my very bare bones UI. Let me just quickly save this. Also have to export all of these. Okay, so now if we go back over to Godot, I don't know what the focused one is. Oh, I see. Oh, okay. I got the idea. When I have some strokes reading something, I guess. I don't know if I necessarily have the time, but you wanna go ahead. I guess it wouldn't hurt. So I think I need to create a new folder here. Call this textures. And then I guess I think Godot supports just dragging and dropping things in. At least I hope it does. Alright, let's see. Okay, cool. So that worked. There we go. Now it is blurry right now, which is sort of a classic 3D engine thing. There we go. That should work well enough. It's in the server in holojam 4 just if you want. No need if I don't have time. I'd quickly give it a look. Oh, I see. Interesting. Yeah, set filter to nearest. I presume that might be good. Let me... Hang on. That's not that nerd. So that's for each specific node. I think this is import. So then we'd go... Okay, so that's for importing. So it's texture settings. Yeah, okay. So it's in the project settings, I assume. Yeah, okay. Nearest. Yeah, there we go. Thanks for that. So then... go back to here. So I guess... I mean, for one, we probably should just test to see if this just runs at all. Oh, select current. Sure. So I need to add the like the game window capture. So let me just do that quickly. I believe this is it. Okay. Yeah. Let me try and space this out. Okay, so yeah, we can see this is working. So I can like hover over it. I don't think it captures my mouse. Let me fix that. Okay, even though I set it to capture my mouse, it doesn't unless I'm like clicked into it. That's interesting. Now that's the only problem right now is I don't know why it's doing this. There's no reason why this should be happening. Let me look at the... Let me look back at the texture button nerd. Whoa, okay. Okay, I'm wondering what the click mask is. Do they have additional documentation for this? Okay, maybe we just don't worry about the click mask for now. I also see that Gadur has automatically, well, that OBS has automatically captured yet another thing that it shouldn't have. Window title must match. There we go, be gone. Okay, cool. So in that case... Um... I'm a little bit lost on how to make this work the way that was intended. Because currently that's just it. Like, if I click this, which I think OBS takes a little bit to show it on screen. Yeah, okay. Like, I can hover over it and it's fine. But then if I, like, actually click it at all, it goes to this, and I don't know why. It's really odd. Hmm. Let's look at these settings. I don't think any of this is, like, immediately a problem. But I also just don't know why that's not displaying correctly. Um... This is really odd. We're gonna set this to nearest again. Just because... I may have to look at a tutorial for UI just to get a better idea. Okay, hang on. Actually, while I'm at it, let me add something just for the sake of the stream. Which is like, what are we doing? Okay. Trying to figure out UI. Current objective. Figure out UI. There we go. That should be good enough. Alright, hang on. Let's see if I can find some kind of tutorial for this. By the way, I'm now realizing my audio is set up incorrectly. I'm gonna need to... just hide a few of these. Okay. There we go. So now... I'm gonna look up a Ghidorah UI. Oh, okay. We've got potentially a good one. A quick start from people coming from Unity. Okay. So we are going to be, or I'm gonna be watching this. I'm not gonna show it on screen because I don't want to, I'm not trying to be like a React Andy. But I will just note this down. We are watching this. And I noticed that the YouTube audio is probably coming through. Oh, actually, no, I have it muted. Good. Let's pause Spotify for a second. Let's just close it in general. How do I do that? Okay, cool. So I think the audio should come through. Okay, nope, of course it isn't gonna do that. Okay. Okay. Alright, let's skip through this. Okay, so that seems to be... It's the same guy you watched for the short tutorial videos you mentioned. Nice. Well, hopefully I am in good hands then. Okay, so first issue, they seem to want me to do this in a control scene instead, which I don't currently have set up. Actually, let me just, like, continue running the tutorial, like, on the side. Okay. So, in that case... Okay, I have an idea. We can... potentially... Okay, we add a child node, I think. We can add a control. We can make this the parent. Like reparent to new node? Nope, okay. Um hmm. So I believe make scene root. Okay, there we go. And then we can just delete this. I figure. Good. The 2D scene you took for 2D elements. The control scene is for UI purposes mostly. Okay. We'll just go with this for now. Like, obviously I don't want to break too far off of the tutorial while I'm still learning. But we can save this as crafting UI. Sure. Alright. Okay, hang on. Something weird seems to have happened here already. That control scene looks a lot different to mine. Okay, hang on. I'm gonna have to probably restart this just like from the beginning, from here. Let's save this as crafting UI. Overwrite that. Let's just go with this for now. Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. 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 So I guess we're not gonna do that for now. Uh, I'll just name this inventory. So I currently don't have a use for this either. That's fine. Don't need that. We do hear the video? Yeah, I know. I don't want it to be like completely silent. But at the same time, I'm not recording this in the VOD. So yeah, we're just listening to it live. Just to look at this. So it should be all good. Okay. Interesting. Right. Okay. Right. Okay, so I don't think we're gonna use that because that's not a button. Okay, hang on. So this is all just an image. I wanna create button. Press bar slider. Button logic. Okay, it's at the end. Okay, hang on. It seems we have... Okay, so they skipped ahead. This part of the video is called slider, and it's not a slider. Okay, that's not super helpful, but... Okay, that's helpful. I should go ahead and do that. So I'm gonna have this at... Ooh. Actually, what should I have it at by default? Okay, what scales... I'm trying to think of like what that one height is. So I think it's like 360 for the height, and like it's like 360 9 times 40, so we need 40 times 16. So it's like 640 by 360. Okay, so that creates a smaller window, but I do want it to scale up automatically. Stretch viewport, I assume. And then I think having it resizable is kind of a problem here. Have it like full screen-ish. Center of primary screen. So I think this is probably fine. Okay, cool. So we have the game able to scale up. Now this is gonna look huge on the stream, which I do need to fix that. Gadur game. Here we go. This is what we're working with. Like this. This here. Yeah, and I can like click in and do all that. Okay, good, and we can Alt F4. Okay, cool. So we have the window fixed, that's good. Just to get out of the way. Yep. Okay, hang on. So I believe that's not gonna help us then, because what I currently need to do, if we sort of scale this, scale it, how do I, okay. Let me just bring back Spotify because I don't think that's gonna help us too much anymore. Alright, we can resume this. Okay. So it doesn't show the amount of pixels here. That's a little annoying, but... like, changed this. Odd. Okay, hang on. Let's... This is odd. So it says that that's moving it around. It says that that's 0, 0, which is odd. I see no reason why this should be 0, 0. I mean, do we even bother if we're not gonna have, like, resizable... Like, a resizable UI? Like, I just don't know if it's worth the effort. Alright, hang on. Let's... Does the way that the scene is created depend on the game's... On the game's, like, window size? Because, sir, we might have to remake this again. Okay. Gonna have to save this as crafting UI. Then we have panel. Controls this. Yeah, so now that's correct. Yeah, so that's annoying. You can change in settings if it's windowed full screen or whatever. Same with window size if it's windowed. Yeah, I already did that just before. Let's scale this to be just the full window size. Alright. Currently don't know how exactly I'm gonna divide up this menu. I still think texture button is probably our best option. So I'm gonna have to look at a tutorial specifically for texture buttons. Otherwise, this is gonna be odd. So let's just do this for now. So let's run this. Okay, currently same issue as before, where it is like becoming really dark out of nowhere. And I don't know why. Like that shouldn't be the case. Because when I have like the pressed button, like hang on, let's try. Hang on, let's try deleting or removing this. Like clear? Okay. Maybe we just take away the disabled and focused for now. Okay, nope, same issue. Let's see. Okay, help. I need documentation, please. Texture button. Um. Okay. Okay. Um. Texture to display on mouse down over the node. If the node has keyboard focus and the player presses the enter key or presses the base button shortcut key. It still doesn't really help. Okay, I'm wondering if somehow this is like a texture problem and not like a texture button problem. But I will see if I can find a tutorial for this. I would like to please have Godot or have YouTube stop recommending me stuff for alternate buttons. Okay, hang on. We are going to shut Spotify again. And we are going to listen to another YouTube tutorial. Woohoo! We're doing great. Alright. Okay, this is not doing it. Um, God damn it. Please just let me, please just let me use textures. Oh my god. I am literally begging you. Oh, God. Okay, hang on. Okay, I like can't find anything for texture buttons. That's really odd. Okay, hang on. Per pixel UI. Okay, does maybe we just yeah, I'm looking at a tutorial for Pixel UI, this user interface, sorry, as like an overall thing. Do they at any point in this tutorial go over texture buttons? I'm scanning ahead of time. I still cannot see them going over texture buttons. Nope, they do not go over texture buttons in this video either. That is so odd. It's like nobody is bothering to like cover this. That's so frustrating. What the fuck? That is really annoying. The only difference is that you can decide for yourself what they look like. But that's the thing, like I need to use a texture for it because it's going to be pixel art. Like I need to use this image. And yet and like that's the problem that I'm having. Like if I do this, like wait for this to come up on screen. The problem right now is that if I hover over this, like I press it, and first and foremost, this is not a correct texture. Like this should be semi-transparent, and it should be gray. For some reason, it's just lingering in this weird state, and it doesn't like unstick the button either. It's like that's really odd. Like I'm honestly just kind of at a loss for words. I don't know why this wouldn't be working. I mean, if you say the default buttons are the same, I'll see if I can. All right, I'll try doing another. I'll try looking back at the Gaduri UI. Gonna have to. Gonna have to look at how they do the buttons. See if it can be applied to a texture button. Okay. Spotify, go away once again. We are back in the Kirker Code video. Mhm. Okay. Okay, so I think I might see what the issue is. I think I see what the issue is. Can we disable the ability to have a focused button? Yeah, let's bring back this. So the action mode should be button release. But then it still counts that as the the focused button, which I think is the problem here. It's like layering over the focus button. And I can prove this by doing this. Okay, so that actually isn't the case then. That's odd. Okay. So now that's even more confusing. Because that shouldn't be an issue. Alright, let's have another look at this. Let's just make another ace bright thing. So if we hide this, we go back to ace bright. Oop. What if we're gonna what if we do not that, not that. We do this. We look at this. I'm gonna expand this out. We make this like sort of the expanded, like focused sprite. Export this. Now that I think about it, I actually saved this over the previous texture I had here, so wasn't very smart of me. We need to do this. So make sure it doesn't layer the transparency. Now we can export that. Okay, let's delete these. I need to shut a sprite. Alright, we have these back. Put that in, put that in, that in, put that in. Let's see if this works. Waiting for it to come up on stream. Nope, okay. So this seems to just not work, which is really frustrating. So just to double check, this panel, okay, the panel doesn't actually render in game. It's darkened in the editor, but in game it's fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. These horns look like they ouchie. They probably do ouchie. Welcome in. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. We're still trying to figure out how the hell we're gonna do this. Currently, it is just not working for me. Like, hovering over it is fine. It just doesn't... When you click on it, it goes all weird. I just can't find like a source on this that seems to fix the problem that I'm having. I think we might just have to use default buttons. Because this is just not working otherwise. Like, unless this is a theming problem, which is, like, possible. Square? Yeah. We are currently making square buttons, or at least trying to, and failing. I think I might actually have to just get rid of this and try making a button normally. It's like all the tutorials that I saw just use these. Like, these seem to work a little bit better. Have this at like 50 by 50 by default. Let's just try running this. Oh, I don't think I saved it. Save this scene, run this scene. What? Okay, that's really odd. It's not running this. Is it running the wrong scene? It is running the wrong scene. God dang it. Okay. Make this the main scene. Don't save. Okay, I see. That was probably part of the problem. That it wasn't actually saving the new scene. That we weren't actually testing the new scene. That was kind of a dumb move of me. Well, with that in mind, now we can try this out for real. Let's try having these. Maybe we'll have a bit more luck with this. Okay, so it works kind of like how I was sort of expecting it to. So I now know part of what our issue was. That makes a bit more sense. So in that case, we just need to get rid of this focused texture. We can finally have this working exactly how I wanted it to. Cool, finally. That's essentially all I wanted. It's just a hover over, you click, grays out, you can release it. Cool, finally. Jeez. Only took me an hour and a half to figure that out. Now it's time to do the rest. Like, literally the rest of the stuff I was planning. Okay. That was quite an experience. Okay. So now we can start looking into some more, like, coding stuff, as well as, like, icons. So let's see. Let's rename this to item box. Like inventory slot. Let's call it inv slot. We create a child node of that. We'll probably rehome this to like a different scene later. Like whenever we have to like duplicate this. Then we can do a text direct. We can have this anchor. God, where is it? Anchor preset center. Cool. We made it. We're finally able. We're finally free. I was stuck for an hour on that. And I was fucking losing it, honestly. Now, here's the fun part. By that I mean, uh... by that I mean we're gonna draw fish. Or a fish, at least. Let's start this at, like, 24 by 24 to start. Alright. We draw a fish. Doesn't have to be a good fish for now. This is going to have fishing in it, which is why I want to make sure we have a fish drawn ahead of time. We could also have, like, the eyes. No, that almost looks fish-like enough already. Like, we just need a little bit of texture to turn this into, like, a bass. Give it the little scales. Well, that's probably good enough. I did say it didn't have to look too good. Like, already this is probably above what I need to have the art at this point. I would like to saturate it a bit more, though. Set this to, like, this sort of color. Possibly even on, like, a little more of the lime scale. That's good enough. We have a fish. We can export it. Fish.png. So I'm gonna create another folder in Godot. We're gonna call this... I'm gonna call this fish. Scanning files. Please wait. That's discomforting. Excuse me? Oh, okay. Odd. Okay, so we're gonna call this fish. Okay, this is really odd. Why is it not... It says folder with that name already exists, but it isn't showing up. Do I have to restart Godot? Hang on. Let's try restarting Godot. I have heard that Godot can be a little buggy. So if I go here, edit, then we go back to this. There we go. It did create the folder. It just did some weird shit. Okay. I'm fine with this. We got there in the end. Also, Spotify, come back up. Drag that all into UI. We drag this into fish. Then we add this into the texture. Hell yeah. We got fish. Although this is odd. Expand mode. Ignore. Okay, keep size. Keep centered. Okay, there we go. We now have a fish. Let's go. Okay. Alright, we can call this icon. Now, the only problem is we now want to be able to drag this fish between different inventory slots. We want to have information attached to it. Also, it's not even showing up, so that's another issue. Where is the fish? I don't know. Where the fuck is it? Alright. Oh, I think I forgot to save. Is that why? Okay, yeah. False alarm. The fish does exist. We have fish. Thank God. What would we do without fish? so now we need to set this up so that we can actually move it around, and that's going to require getting into some scripting. So let's see, how do we do that? So I believe we can go with like a signal pressed. Okay, cool. So I do believe signals are what we're looking for here. I have looked a little bit into Godot as a game engine. Enough that I'm pretty sure this is what we need. Although we don't have a script yet. So we need to actually do that. Inherits texture button. Okay, we probably should have a script folder before I do that. Scripts. We can create even further subfolder of that. Like UI scripts. Cool. Go into script UI, and we can just save this as like move item. It's going to be a simple drag and drop inventory system. Like sort of a Minecraft style thing. Now, our only problem is here. We're meant to have this only happen on pressed. Connect. Okay. Nerd has one connection. Good. So now that we have this unpressed thing, we should also get a reference to icon, which I need to remember how to do that. Hang on. Godot reference another node. So I think it's an unready. It's like an unready VOD. So like at unready VOD. Are there more like variable types I could do? VOD We'll do my icon. I mean, I think that's probably fine. And then if we go back to the inspector. Okay, how do we make this public? Variable in inspector is what we'd be looking for. Okay, so this is... Okay, so I think I need to export this, is what it is. Cannot use simple export annotation with variable without type or initializer. That's unfortunate. Alright, does Godot have documentation about this? Perhaps. At export. Okay, no, not exporting for... Not exporting for the final game. At export annotation. Let's see. Okay, so it's like... Export nerd? Export private. No, it can't be that. Have like private nerd path. Okay, so that seems to have issues. It's also suggesting we use this instead. Except it doesn't let me. That's really odd. I think this might be for C# scripting in Godot. Okay, yeah. Yeah, okay. I see. Do they have a section on annotations? GD script reference? I could have sworn there was like an easier way to do this. I need to like skim through this video again. Oh. Okay, I just saw something interesting. Hang on, let's delete this. Let me cook. Oh. What? No, that didn't... Okay, so that didn't work then. But why? Okay, maybe we do this as an export var item slot equals icon? Weren't returned before ready. So this is like unready. Okay. Godot at export. I know that this is a lot of just me trying to look at documentation off screen, so I do apologize for that. Okay, this is odd. Sir... Okay. I see what to do. We have to do like this, and then we put export here, And that lets us get a reference to a nerd, such as an icon. So then, there we go. We can do this. Slot icon, I guess I'll call it. We'll assign that here. Whew, okay. That was a lot. Now, I guess the only thing is that technically this shouldn't just be an icon, right? Like, this should be an actual item, which is going to require having its own code to control that. So we'd have to put a script into icon. Potentially we'd have to nest it under like a root node as well. Or like a 2D node. Just trying to think. Because I imagine you could just add a dictionary and all of that. So I think that'll be okay. So in that case, let's just try making a script on this then. Alright, so we're gonna do script UI. We're gonna do item is moving. Well, item movement. Sorry, item movement. Okay. Now, do we have a way to place things at the mouse cursor? Because that's the next thing we need to do. Gadur mouse position. Hardware display coordinates, viewport display coordinates. Get viewport, get mouse position. Okay. Weird. Okay. So we're gonna have to like unanchor this as well, which is a problem. Transform, okay. So I guess get viewport, get mouse position. We have to set this in like a temporary variable. Var mouse position equals get viewport mouse. Okay, hang on. What's the difference between these? Because now there's multiple of these. Like it had a pop up for a different mouse position variable. I think maybe I'll just run with this one for now. Like I think this is what we need. You missed the alert midstream. Hey, that's no problem. Good to have you here, Jinx. Welcome, welcome. Let me check. Did you end up like finishing up your stream? Hang on. Okay, yeah. Drop in the lock while you get yourself some water. Yeah, that's all good. Do whatever you need to do for your end of stream. I saw that you were playing like Lethal Company, like the Lethal Company collab. So yeah, how'd that go? I would be curious to know. Then I guess we'd set transform or transform. Okay, how do we get the position? Is it layout? Oh boy, we're gonna have to look at this again. Change change UI position. Ooh. Okay, this could be an issue. Do we have texture? What's it called? It's like texture rectangle. Okay, so we do have a texture rectangle. Which this goes into texture 2D, I assume. Alright, so this apparently isn't going to work. Which is obviously kind of annoying. Oh. The texture's placement can be controlled with the stretch mode property. Okay, I don't think that's actually gonna help. Oh boy. Okay, sorry, I'm checking a Discord ping. There is something I must do. One moment. Alright, done. So I still can't really figure out how to move this around. I may have to parent this to a panel. Or child this to a panel. Quite possibly. Because then we could change, like, the panel position? If it has... Or if it so allows me to. How do we get the layout position? Oh, so that's kind of a problem. It doesn't let us get the layout. Okay, hang on. I might have an idea. I think it's texture? No, it's not texture. Hello, Ichi. It is going okay. We spent an hour basically figuring out if I go over here and we run this. Yeah, I'm working on a Hololive thing. Indeed. Yeah, I spent like an entire hour figuring out how to get this button to work correctly such that I could mouse over it and click on it and have it still work. If sad your stream blew up, you would have rated me? No, that's all good. I am okay with that. There is no obligation to raid. Buttons are always so complicated. Yeah, it's it can be a pain in the ass for sure. So like my main problem is I'm currently trying to figure out how to like move this fish when I click on it. That is what I'm currently trying to figure out. Let me search control. Okay, hang on. I might be getting somewhere with this. Since this is global position, is that something I can set? Global, oh, okay. Global position equals mouse position, potentially. Okay. Quite possibly. Tyler, you gotta go and eat and watch One Piece with your bro, have a good stream. Yeah, by all means. If you all need to do any off the stream stuff, I totally understand. Feel free to go ahead. Yeah. I'm just glad y'all came along to look at this happen, kinda. In whatever degree I can get it working. That's all good. Should send my progress in your server so you can check it out tomorrow. Yeah, maybe. I'll see about that. Really depends like how much progress I actually make today. It's not exactly easy to make a game jam game while also streaming it. Now, this is what I find confusing is like, why isn't this doing anything now? Hmm. Either way, it's sad you can't see it. So you want to see it somehow? That's fair. I'll see what I can do. Oh, hang on. Suddenly that worked. Y'all can't see it on stream right now, but it kind of worked. Now, the only problem is it's not setting the offset correctly. So it's like really strange. Yeah, it's acting really strangely. Yeah, I think I kinda broke it, but That's probably workable? I don't know. Hang on. We're getting somewhere with this. I honestly don't know how the hell I would fix this, but it's doing something. Is this something you can do? G'day. This nerd. Self, I think it is. Self? Oh, self? Dot global position? Maybe this will work better? Did I save that? Hang on. No, okay, it's still doing something strange. I wonder if this is like a parenting issue. As weird as that sounds to say out loud, I wonder if this is an issue with object parenting. Like maybe I need to have this like deparented from this. Like if I just deparent this, I go move item, slot icon node, drag this over just to make sure. Okay, yeah, it was a parenting issue. I'm the stupid one, as it turns out. I'm wondering why this is sometimes happening, though. It's kinda a little bit buggy. Still. I think I may know why. It's still doing it as a raycast target, I believe. Which it shouldn't be. So let's see, can we disable this as a raycast target? Please go to icon in the inspector. Can you please do that? Thank you. Mouse. Texture. Visibility. Ordering? Hang on. Input? Filter. Okay. Yeah, maybe we set this to ignore? Okay, good. That seems to work exactly as it should, if it'll show on screen. This is working exactly as it needs to. The fish no longer blocks the mouse as like a UI object. So that's good. That's great, actually. Honestly, quite incredible. Now, only problem we still have is if we look at the texture, can we get the width and height of this and add that as like an offset? So texture. Okay, so you have get height and get width is apparently a thing. Yeah, okay. Alright, let's look at... Let's go back to icon. Let's go to here. Then we got var icon width equals get width. Or did it be texture.get width? And then we do the same for height. Actually, we could do... Okay, if we do var icon width, convert that to a vector 2. Okay, maybe we do new vector 2. Like that? Okay, let's... I need to Google this as well. Gdur... What would you call it? Like, create vector 2? Yeah, we need to declare a vector 2. Oh, do we just use... Do we just do equals... Or equals new vector 2? No, it's not that either. I mean, that seems to just work. I mean, do we have to do this? Maybe we just... We can then just do dot x equals texture get width. And then we do this dot y equals texture get height. We'd actually have to divide it by 2 as well. Divided by 2. I realize I should be making comments here as well. Okay, move item to position, to mouse position. Not to mouse position. There we go, mouse position. We got there eventually. So what if we just do this? Minus icon offset. Okay, so if all goes well, which it didn't, if all goes well, it was meant to get an offset. Maybe I forgot to save? Okay, yeah, I just forgot to save, apparently. Now, the only issue here is that this is still not quite correct. So is there a way to get, like, how stretched the screen is? Because otherwise we kind of have an issue here. Okay, hang on. So, like, you can't change the alignment of a PNG. That sucks. Gadara set image center? Click the layout button. Click center. But it already does. Is the problem. What if okay, if we do full rectangle. Nope, okay. That's not doing it. How about we just undo that? Why does this not work as it should? Oh, I forgot. Because we, like, deparented it. Oh, that sucks. Okay, hang on. We can have just an empty node. Maybe we add, like, just an empty node. What if we parent both of these here? Okay, no. We need to change this to... Let's not do that. We need to change this to a panel, I believe. We need to call this inv slot. This is going to become border. Or we're gonna just call this button. So that both gonna become parented to that. And this is gonna become anchored. There we go. Gaming. So then we just change this entire position. Except it won't let me. Theme. Visible off. Oh. Okay, nope. Texture. Material. Theme overrides. Input. Layout? Okay, so it's gonna force me to have this on. Which sucks, because I don't want it to... I don't want it to have, like, the visual gray. Gonna do... Make panel transparent. How do we do that? In the inspector, click on self-modulate. And drag this all the way down. Ah, okay. Cool. Transform. And we're gonna be putting this... In size can be like 1 by 1. You know, honestly, that might just be how we have to do this. Can we do like 0 by 0? Is that a thing we can do? Oh, hell yeah. Now we're getting somewhere. So then... I guess the only thing we need to do is set this to ignore. What's top level mean? Okay, I'm gonna disable this. Now we can set the position of this to whatever we want. So let's put this at like 40, 40, 40. Gonna save this. So then we have this at full rectangle. Do we have to do this as a position? Actually, would that be better? I mean, okay, this actually worked. Like once it appears on stream, you can see that the fish actually does attach to my mouse cursor, and it doesn't interrupt this. So I mean, realistically, this is exactly what it should be doing. That's great. You love to see it. Alright, cool. So what is next? Alright, let's update our objective. We have more or less figured out like basic UI. Now we need to figure out dictionaries. Yippee. Okay. I guess technically we should. Okay, there is one more thing we need to do actually before we figure out dictionaries. Let me get some water. Why not? I'm now realizing I didn't draw the fish very well. Like this sort of area looks a bit weird, but yeah, we can fix the fish later, you know? I guess for now, what we actually need to do um so currently we don't have a variable connected to this. So we'd need export var slot position lock. Position lock equals true by default is what we'd need. Then here we do if not position locked. And we'd have to copy all of this into here. So then I guess we'd also have... We'd have to figure out the same for... I wonder if it automatically re-anchors it. If you just leave it. I wonder. That might be what we're dealing with here. But otherwise, we can just... Okay, just ignore my rambling for now. I have an idea. Slot icon dot... I think I may need to change this to a texture rect. Okay, so it still has that set correctly. So I guess we'd have to do position, but then that doesn't work because we need a reference to this variable somehow. So that's another issue. Okay, Godot. What did you call it? Set variable in another script. Wait, oh. Interesting. Hang on. So there is a different method we can do here. We'd need to remove this. Let's delete this. Can I not delete this? Disconnect. So we'd have to set this to... Okay, hang on. Wait. Did I... Oh my god, it fucking deleted the button. Ah, I hate this. Whatever, man. Okay, so it doesn't delete the correct thing. Well, that fucking sucks. But the only problem here that I'm seeing with how I plan to do this is if we use signals, then that can create an issue. Yeah, let me see. Can I, like, add a variable to this? Add extra call argument? Oh. Ooh. Okay. So maybe it's nerd path that I need. Nerd path. Nope. Ghidorah, nerd in signal. Using signals in Godot engine. Okay, hang on. Maybe we don't bother with that. We may be able to get away with doing this. We do function. we do this function unpressed here. Okay. So it doesn't seem to have a problem with that so far. Position equals not position lock. So can that just work? Nope, it in fact does not work. Okay. It doesn't show on screen, but basically if I click this, it doesn't unlock it. Which sucks. But why? Yeah, it basically doesn't work no matter what. Okay, hang on. Let's just set this to false just to see if this is working at all. Okay, no, so that doesn't work. Not position lock. Okay. So that's odd. Need to like look back at a tutorial. Okay. So that's not what I needed. Fuck, okay. Let's... Alright, let's try something different here. That's clearly not working. This needs to be able to set... This needs to be able to set the icon's movement by default. Which I believe... there is a way to do... Hang on. Fedora access variable from another script. Need to use Polish's a stamina UI component is subscribed to that event. But that's not what I need. Excuse me? Oh my god. Burr's bringing up the observer pattern. In my Reddit thread? Okay, I probably should be using that though, actually. Like, jerks aside. Um... Alright, let's look at this. Gdur signals. Oof. Okay. I like how there's a video called In-Depth Overview, and it's 3 minutes long. Okay. Finish getting water and showering so you know you can chill. Nice! Welcome back. Admittedly, there is not a lot happening right now. Because I am trying to figure out how to get this from, like, a different script. And it just doesn't want me to. I wonder if maybe I have to have this parented in a way. Like, maybe now I can... No. Okay. That is not the case. Literally can't type. That's okay, happens to the best of us. Okay, hang on. It's... Please deparent yourself. Thank you. When you get stuck on scripts, you're toxic and start again from scratch. That's understandable. I mean, honestly, I haven't had the best luck using Gdur so far, but I'm trying to stick through it. It's like essentially I want to be able to like set this to false from this script, but it's definitely being difficult. Editor versus code. Signals. Oh my god. I'm looking at a YouTube tutorial right now. The amount of just... that they had a sponsor. It's like, oh my god, please. I'm begging you. YouTube has good ideas a lot of the time. Keyword a lot of the time. Yeah. Okay, this is odd. Button dot press. This has not been too helpful so far, the tutorial I'm currently looking at. It's just finding a relevant one that is hit or miss. Yeah, exactly. And Gadur receive signal from another script. Okay, hang on. I hate how every everything that I have seen so far from like Gadur's official thing just says, look at the documentation. And it's like, I already looked at the documentation. My god. Hmm. The nerd needs a receiver method. Function which Gadur will call when the button emits the signal. Editor generates one for you. On button pressed. Okay, that's fine. Ugh, okay. Still seems to want me to... Still seems to want me to do this differently. Like, it seems to want me to want them structured in a certain way. Oh. Like, this sends out this signal. But, like, I can't get that signal from here. And it's like, why? Why is that? Documentation doesn't seem to tell me. Okay, hang on. Maybe I've set up the signal incorrectly. Oh, I need to connect this. God damn it. Okay. I have found the way. We can ignore this. We can do this. This should set position lock to equal the opposite of itself. So now, if I run the project and I click the item icon, hey, okay, there we go. It now gives me the fish. Now, the early problem right now is that if I click it back onto the item slot, it'll actually just leave the fish wherever I left it. It doesn't recenter the fish. So that's kind of an issue. Because then you can just leave fish here, like outside of the item box, like at the corners and stuff. It's obviously not something I want people to be able to do. Oof. Like, look how far outside of the box I can leave the fish. Oh yeah, the current objective isn't accurate, by the way. I was going to figure out dictionaries until I spent like 30 minutes trying to figure out this other thing. Now, the only problem is I don't know how to re-anchor this, or how to reposition this. Position equals... Like, it changes its global position. Ow. Just accidentally fucking perked my eye. Oof. My god. No, I just realized Godot exposes my computer specs. That's interesting. Oof. Uh... Oof, indeed. Yeah, they're not... I mean, my computer specs aren't bad by any means, but... Still weird. I didn't expect it to do that. Um... Okay. Trying to think about how I would re-anchor this. Like, would I just get the default position? Okay, what if we just try this? On ready, var default position equals self.global position. And then we just have this as an else. Self.global position equals default position. Yeah, we'll have this visible in a second. There we go. So we can now... Yep. So it now returns to the center no matter what. The only potential problem I could see with this is if we... like, say we needed to, like, move the item slot. I don't know if that would work correctly with this system. But I think for now, I'm just not gonna worry about that, honestly. I think right now this is fine. Okay. So here's the good news, quote unquote. We can now we can now move on to figuring out dictionaries. Fun stuff. All right. Actually, not even like I want to see if there's a way we can figure out saving and loading. Because if there is a way to, then I want to figure out like what data structure I should use for the inventory. Because I want one that is going to be scalable to like a save system if I get around to making that. So Godot, save and load. Yeah, save system does sound good. I agree with that. I mean, obviously for a game jam game, it doesn't really have to. But I feel like specifically, ugh, yawning. Specifically for this type of game that I'm making, I feel like it would be better with a save system. I feel like it's kind of necessary. Hmm. Okay, so the save system just uses JSON. So that's good. Because that's basically what I do in Game Maker as well. Hell yeah. Okay. So I should be good to just use dictionaries and lists. Cool. Some games do feel more right with one, so that makes sense. Yeah, exactly. Because this is going to be, like, somewhat crafting based. And, like, the main content of the game. I mean, I guess this is kind of spoiled by the fish, but you're going to be fishing as well. You're going to be fishing and then making those fish into things. Essentially. And it's going to be... It is simply going to be themed around Hololive as a property. That's the idea. You love fishing in games? Damn, real. Women love her, fish fear her. Incredible. You need that hat? Let's go. I may have to get that hat as like a VTuber asset to use while I am making this game at some point. Yeah, fishing is definitely pretty fun for sure. You'd be jealous of it? Damn. No, that's maybe I could make one that's like available for everyone. I don't know. It probably exists already, to be honest. Like a VTuber asset for that. But then I guess like depending on what program you're using, it could be like more or less difficult to use or to like add it. Because I know that in VTube Studio you can just add things as is. Like I think, you know, if I hide VTube Studio for a second, can I like add something here? I mean, I'm getting distracted, but I must indulge my distraction for a second. I can, in fact, add stuff to myself. Oh. Honestly, quite incredible. I guess this is just my life now. Wait, what if I, like... Can I, like, rotate this? Surely there's a way to rotate this. Ah, okay. Hang on. I'm cooking. Good, now they can be petting my horn, I guess. This is really dumb. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll get back to the programming. Use V2 Studio, but Ichi uses Animate because he's 3D. Oh, Animes. Yeah. Okay. You'd have to edit it. Right. Okay. Yeah, also, I've been meaning to ask, like, I'm curious. You seem, like, from talking to you, you seem to have some sort of background in, like, tech or, like, programming. Like, without getting too much into, like, personal details, of course, like, you know, what do you do? Like, what is your experience with programming or software development? Like, I'm curious if you're okay with sharing that. You're involved in IT infrastructure. Interesting. Okay. Networking role. So, like, networking is in, like, internet or telecommunications. Okay, cool. That's really cool. So maybe, like, not quite internet? Oh, internet and phone and stuff. Okay. That's really cool. Very cool. Yeah, I don't know. Like I'm not like the best at programming and like very technical stuff. I'm more of like a game design person. Like that's pretty interesting. Not programming specific, but scripting can make life easier anywhere. Right, okay. Well, I won't press you for further details. Like, obviously, you know, once again, I don't want you to, like, you know, dox yourself or anything. Like, I was just curious if you could, like, if you were able to say anything about that, just out of interest. No, that's really cool. Um, alright, back to this. So we can use dictionaries, but I need to figure out how. Okay, hang on. Dictionaries. Oop. Okay. Holds key value paths. Yep. Okay, so that does seem to be an easier way to do this. So I can just copy this directly from their website, actually. funny thing is we don't even need this script per se. Okay. So I think I'm gonna split this up into a different script. So this is just the item movement. Okay. So we need one for like the item data. Sort of what I'm seeing here. Now I do wonder how efficient I could make this. Because quite possibly I could have this as like, we add this as a child nerd. And like this will just essentially hold its data. I think the nerd can do that by default. Effectively what I'm looking at doing is like a data class of sorts. Gdur data class? Okay, I don't think this is quite what I was looking for. I think we'll just run it with what I was originally planning. We'll add a script to this. We're gonna call this fish data. Or I guess we'd call it item data. I potentially want this to account for more than just fish. Scripts. And it's not really UI. May have to make a new folder. This also isn't visible on stream, I'm realizing. We'll just call this like a data folder. Sure. Right, so we now have item data.gd. Oh, there we go. This is it. Do I have to have like an on ready here? Okay, it doesn't seem like it. Item data. Va underscore data dictionary. I guess we can just call it that for short. I'm not gonna say it out loud because otherwise it's gonna sound like I'm saying something else, but okay. So we'd have the name of the fish, which this case could be like a bass. I'm also trying to figure out how to space these out. So it seems they recommend doing it kind of like this. But I am just trying to think about how I would architect this. Does VTuber mean something different from VTuber? So I explained this on one of my other streams, like during Elden Ring. It's basically based on it was okay. So to briefly recap it, there was there was a time where XQC was like falsely using the VTuber tag, and like he didn't even know how to pronounce it, so he just called it like a VTuber instead. So like kind of like dumb shit, honestly. Like not I don't know, kind of like not a major. Yeah, it's just it doesn't really mean anything. It's just a meme, really. You love meme tags, are you for it? Yeah, for sure. Um, I'm wondering, like, because I guess each item isn't necessarily going to have, like, how do I explain this? Each item isn't necessarily going to have, like, unique stats, so I'm not even sure if there's gonna be, like, archetypes of fish. So, like, I don't even know if we have to do this for now. Hmm. Are you gonna are you gonna get to play this game when it's done? Yes. As soon as I figure out what the hell I'm doing, because the problem here, I realize I'm not doing a lot right now. And it's because I have to think about how I'm going to architect this system, right? Because that sort of creates the entire backbone. So you're excited to fish? I hope you are, because it's going to be a lot of fishing. Um, in fact, I may even need to like move over to doing like a Google document. Because like that's essentially what you do as like a designer. And like I've always been taught to do like technical specifications, if that makes sense. You were surprised to see me in Kurt already? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I probably should. Like, I did a little bit of planning, but it was only for more of, like, the content side of the game. So I suppose I should. This might become a Google document stream, is essentially what I'm saying. Okay. We're doing Google Documents. All right, let's see if there's a way I can do this. Yeah, if you're straight into code, you can have work that I gotta redo, exactly. I think, like, part of it is, like, since I'm new to Godot, like, I wanted to figure out a little bit how it works first. And now that I have a bit of a better idea of the workflow, I can now, like, actually scope out the more technical side. Now, the only scary thing with doing a Google document on screen or on stream is just account stuff. So that could be an issue. Is it my real personal account? Sir, it's not my real personal account, right? Like, but I do have them, like, signed in otherwise. So, like, I don't know what menus in Google Documents could expose, like, other accounts, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's gonna be difficult. Like, if anything, I may even have to do this just locally in, like, a text document. Add a crop filter? Potentially. I don't know. Hard to say. That's how you did your reaction stream, yeah. Didn't want people to see it even using a VTuber account? Yeah, exactly. Definitely scary stuff. If anything, I may even have to do this off stream a little bit. You got the top of the browser code, it works every time. Maybe. Maybe. Hmm. Problem is I need to test it, yeah. So doing that on stream isn't viable. Yeah, exactly. So I may try and do this just on a notepad document for now. And I can, like, filter this into a Google document. Like, I kind of want to at least hit the 4-hour mark before I end stream for today. Like, maybe kind of just, like, ease into the scripting. Yeah, we'll do a what's it called? We'll do a notepad for now. But I forgot. Okay. Here we go. Here's notepad. It looks kind of odd. I gotta change the objective too because, of course. Figure out architecture. I don't know, for lack of a better word. Is this Windows 10 or 11? Unfortunately, it is Windows 11. Yep. Okay. Not the worst default, because default notepad wraps text in 11. That's true. Yeah. God. Water bottle's going crazy. Hang on. realized that didn't make a lot of sense what I just said. What I meant is that I had to get water, but it was, like, dripping everywhere. I needed to not have that happen. Like the condensation. Anyway. Would have recommended downloading Sublime Text otherwise. Okay. I've never heard of that. That's an interesting shout. Which is also a better code notepad option too. Oh, okay. That's cool. Alright. Has a dark mode for an OS version. Okay. Yeah, that sounds cool. For sure. Which is a plus if you hate white screens like you. Yeah, that's understandable. Okay. How are we gonna do this? Let's start by declaring, like, what an item is. Like, it's gonna need... So we could potentially do, like, each item as, like, a node? Like, just a node with unique data? So then, in order to pick up an item, you would have to be able to instantiate that node. So, like, items can exist in multiple states. They can either be in your inventory, they can be, like, on the ground. Or do they have to be on the ground? Because if we're doing fishing, we can just put it in automatically. Well, they're gonna exist as fish, so I guess, like, an outside of inventory state. Yeah, water is ground, basically, yeah. Like, they're gonna exist in the physical world space. Like, obviously, there's not a lot to show for it right now, but the fishing minigame is actually just gonna be straight up, like, you control the hook while it's in the water, and it basically just automatically goes down the screen, and you can, like, steer it left and right. And, like, that's gonna be no way to reel it on your own. Like, it's basically just as soon as you hook something, it'll, like, reel up automatically. And otherwise, it just floats down automatically. Yeah, normally it's just cast reel. I wanted to have some sort of, like, mini game, or some sort of, like, gameplay to it, of course. Like, there are a lot of interesting ways you can do a fishing mini game. But for now, so fish exist as an item. So that means fish are gonna need, like, a nerd reference to instantiate in the inventory. So then, like, what is the inventory? Right? Inventory stores a list of item nerds, I guess. So yeah, when you catch a fish, it'll have a reference to a nerd to instantiate in the inventory, which then gets stored in the inventory. Now, in terms of how we would save that, I guess, once again, we just store a reference to to, like, the nerd of the item. Since items aren't going to have unique qualities right now, at least that's not planned, and I feel like that would be a bit overscoped. So all the variations are just going to be variations of nerds, essentially. Which means we need a base fish class, essentially. We need a base fish class, which needs to have its own unique sprite, has to have a name, and it needs to have a string. Or I guess that's kind of the name, right? Like, we can just check the name of an item. Oh, jeez. Hopefully that wasn't audible on stream. I accidentally hit my knee against the desk. Fish class. Yeah, yes. A school, perhaps. A school of fish. Hmm. Yes, quite. So yeah, we need like a base fish class. Has like a sprite and an item. I really don't like how far this tabs out by default. But I think I'm just gonna have to run with that. Whoop. You can't think of a good class. Depends what you mean. Oh. Base fish class, which is a nerd. Maybe barbarian because they freak out when hooked on and have low intelligence. Good point. Perhaps they are barbarians. It's a fair shout. It's like, I guess if all we need is a sprite and a name, then we possibly don't need like an attached, if I sort of move this to the side, we possibly don't need like an attached data class. They don't wear armor too, just natural defense. Yeah, that's true. They are scaled creatures. The base fish class is a nerd, sprite name, reference inventory. Stores a list of item nerds. But I guess you'd need to spawn it with the item nerds in slots. Like, the slots is what the problem is that I can think of right now. Is that, like, you know, the item slots are different from, like, the fish object itself. So, like, So then, okay, if we need to think about, like, script-wise, like, let me just add a sort of a heading here. So script-wise, in order to add a fish, you would need to find an empty inventory slot, probably from a list, from inventory list. Right. Then you'd need to... Once again, I'm mostly just trying to figure out, like, where does the differentiation lie between slots and fish? Because, like, the slot is, like, the space in the inventory that you can move items between, which is different than the items themselves. In a way, item slots are basically just containers for the item. Which begs the question of, do I store the fish data in the list, or do I store it in the container? Right? One inventory for character, then a different bag for fish. Not quite sure what you mean by that. Like a fish cooler? I suppose. So we have... Find an empty inventory slot. Like, I don't know if it's necessarily better one way or the other if we store... Because this is what we're looking at, right? We can either have stores a list of slots with each slot storing its own current allocated item, or we can have stores a list of items. You know, it's like, do we just do it like super straightforward like this, or do we actually like have, I guess, like a parenting structure here? Trying to think of which would be better. We have to find an empty inventory slot. Then we need to store the fish data somewhere. We're using the fish's nerd reference. Oh, so this is another problem. This is actually the base item class. And then we're gonna need like a base fish class. Which has its nerd reference, as well as any other like movement data, like movement functionality. Depends, yes, on, for one, inventory management as a task in game, because if they have to have an open slot, then that means they have to store extra items somewhere. Exactly. Yeah, that's basically what we're looking at here. So, like, I don't necessarily know how many items I want them to be able to get. Do I like inventory management in games? Not really. The only problem is that having an unlimited inventory can be a bit more script heavy. But I suppose for a jam game, it doesn't really matter. Right? Because, like, I'm not going to be able to add enough unique items for it to really matter in the long run. It impacts immersion and it can add lure in large games. Yeah, exactly. So why add an extra chore? Yeah. So, like, maybe we just take out... excuse me. So instead, we store the fish data in the list. Fish data, like some sort of identifier in the list. We're also going to need an amount so that fish can actually stack. Yeah, I'm good with 10k fish in my pockets, exactly. Oh, a god. I am a god with 10k fish in my pockets, yes. That is the plan exactly. Hmm. So, we have the amount. Instead, we kind of need searches for the fish ID in the list. If it doesn't exist, add it to the list as a new entry. Whoop, accidentally clicked out. And otherwise, update the existing entry for that fish to increase the amount. I think that's fine. Yeah, I think that's probably an okay way to do it. And then we'd basically have to... You know, if... Not if. We have to create an item slot for that fish. Or create an item slot for that item. I don't know, I'm using item and fish interchangeably. Or I guess here I am, specifically. Technically, this should just be add items so that I can add things to this later. That item to increase the amount. Create an item slot for that fish. For that item. And then I think that should be good. Yeah. Okay. I'm just thinking about it because this sort of goes back to architecture once again. Because if I hide this, currently I have this all nested under an inventory slot, like value, or like an inventory slot node, which is basically just the position of both the button and the icon, like relative to each other. You're gonna pass out, dude. That's fine. You can go if you need to. I'm probably gonna end stream in a second anyway. Fighting to stay up until 1? You don't have to stay up for me. You're all good. But no, I think this is probably an okay place to end off for today. Like, anyway. Because, like, I do have to figure out more of, like, the architecture stuff. But, yeah, I'll be able to, like, post my progress later, so that's cool. But yeah, it is okay to be EP. We will probably go and raid now. And by probably, I mean that's what I'm doing. I'm closing a door. Alright. It has been... Oh, I need to actually save this before anything crashes quickly. Holojam architecture. Cool. Double stream was too much for you? Yeah, that's fine. And yeah, we'll go see if we can raid someone. Okay, cool. I have a perfect raid target. Nice. Alright. I've raided Emmeline VT in the past. I know that you already know about her, Anna Jinx. Or if you are still around. But yeah, so we should be good to go raid her. We can go give her the old razzle dazzle. Yeah. So I'll be back tomorrow, same time, basically doing the same thing, trying to get this game jam to work. This game jam game.